Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Today, I, Mahmoud Algallaf, will be talking alongside my good friend Ali about the recent events that have happened in the English Premier League. Ali, why don't you, give them a brief introduction to what has gone on in the past few weeks?
Well, first of all, let's start off with the breaking news that Manchester City might get relegated for recent charges about them cheating with costs that they have spent in the last few years. And there has been a lot of controversy as well with what happened with the Ziyech, Chelsea player, who has gone to PSG and for a loan, but it got cancelled in the last minute because they didn't get his contract ready. And there's also how Cancelo going to Bayern Munich for a loan, which is big news because he's one of the best wing backs in the Premier League.
Yeah, I think that what the recent events that have just transpired that you've mentioned are mind-boggling. I think that we'll never get to a transfer window, we'll never get a month as crazy as January 2023. Seeing a manager as smart as Pep Guardiola let go of a player as good as João Cancelo, like it's as bad as a manager like Jurgen Klopp playing Darwin Núñez at striker, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Because João Cancelo is a really fantastic player, and he doesn't only play as a wing back, he also sometimes plays as a midfielder. And he's really good at it most of the time.
I did not know that. That's actually really interesting. So, in your opinion, why do you think Guardiola thought, let go of such a player?
Well, I don't think they need money. That's definitely not the reason behind it. And maybe it's about his form recently. He hasn't been in the best form, but I doubt that. I think one of the reasons could be that he's trying to give a chance to other players to play in the pitch instead of João Cancelo, and maybe Cancelo might get more experience by going in the loan, even though he does have a lot of experience. So I don't know. I don't see any good reason for him to let go.
Yeah, I don't see any good reason as well. I mean, recently, after his loan move to Bayern Munich, in his first 2 games, he actually managed to get 2 assists from right back. Not any player can just get 2 assists in 2 games entering into a new environment. A lot of people like to make fun of the Bundesliga, saying it's not a competitive league. Farmers League, yeah. A lot of people think it's a farmers league, but I don't think people realize the players who came from the Bundesliga. Let me give you 4 examples not 4, 5. Let me give you 5 that I can think of off the top of my head now. Robert Lewandowski, Bayern Munich legend. Now he's at Barcelona and he's one of their top scorers. Yeah. So there's Kevin De Bruyne. Everyone knows him. He's City's best midfielder. I mean, with contention within your opinion and my opinion, David Silva, right?
We can all agree that Kevin De Bruyne isn't just the best. He isn't just the best midfielder in the Premier League. He could even be one of the best midfielders in the world right now.
Yeah, and that's from the Bundesliga, which people like to call the Farmers League. Let me give you another player. There's İlkay Gündoğan. I think you know who he is. Yeah, he's an amazing player. Yeah, incredible player. And there's Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. He was an Arsenal legend at one point. Amazing player. Unfortunately,
he left for Chelsea.
Nothing personal.
Nothing personal.
Not at all, no. And there's the 5th player who I think who has a special place in your heart, Mesut Ozil. Did he not play in the Bundesliga? One of the best midfielders and one of the most underrated players of all time.
He is my favorite player of all time, actually.
I don't blame you. Mesut Ozil played in a way that no other midfielder could do. He was so clinical yet so creative. He was so fast yet so strong. It was almost impossible to stop him at his prime. That's why when Real Madrid lost him, it was seen as a very big risk. I remember that, I think it was 2014, right?
It was 2014, yeah. The transfer window which opened up in 2013-2014 season, he went to Arsenal.
Yeah. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that people don't realize that 2 assists in 2 games for João Cancelo is very impressive. And furthermore, I think that a player like him shouldn't be made fun of. He should be appreciated and respected.
Yeah, well, but you also gotta see that Bundesliga is one of the top 5 major leagues
Yes,
in
it is.
football.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which makes it a really huge accomplishment, seeing the other leagues with competition. Sure, it doesn't compete with the Premier League, since the Premier League is up there with debatably being the best league in football. But I put Bundesliga in a close second, with the Liga coming on third.
I'm pretty sure that a lot of people might disagree with that opinion, but I don't blame you for thinking that way. Teams such as Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund were amazing.
So, what was it?
We were talking about
it being a hard take.
I think it is a hot take that you mentioned that the Bundesliga is better than La Liga, because La Liga has produced teams like Real Madrid, Barcelona, Sevilla, Atletico Madrid. These are some historical teams who are all in their own right are amazing. While the Bundesliga, okay, it produced good teams, it hasn't had historical wins. However, I kind of see where your points lie, because the Bundesliga, in my opinion, have produced debatably better players in many aspects, with the big exception of Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi.
My point wasn't being that the teams are better in the league or anything. My point was the players that have been produced in the Bundesliga. If you look at them and stats-wise and everything, they're spectacular players. La Liga has produced amazing players, but if you look at them right now, if you look at, for example, Real Madrid, the players that they have produced and haven't kept are really like, it's a few. I can't name any on the top of my head, because the thing with the Liga is once you go to the Liga, you always stay the Liga.
That's true.
Most of the players don't get out of the Liga, with the exception of a few, of course. That was my point. But Bundesliga, the second someone gets a chance to get out of it, they get out of it. Or not the second, but like once they get a huge chance or opportunity, like Lewandowski going to Barcelona, which is a huge chance for
yes.
They'll get out of the Bundesliga. That's what I meant. What I meant was with the players that they produce.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really good point. So, now that we've talked enough about Manchester City, I'd like to talk about other members of the big English teams. I'd like to start off first with a very interesting club, in my opinion, who are Chelsea. A team that has spent around 600 million pounds in this entire, or euros in this entire year. I mean, what do you think, Ali? That's a lot of money, isn't it?
It is a lot of money, and most teams couldn't even spend half as much as money in that. And Chelsea has spent it just in one transfer window, which is like incredible. And the thing with Chelsea is they don't need new players. And they don't need a new manager. The manager, in my opinion, he's decent, and but the club is not doing. They're not performing well because they're just getting top players from every team and not connecting them together. There's no chemistry whatsoever.
Not at all.
But in my opinion, if you look at the players, look at Chelsea's C team. Chelsea's C team, not even their B team, is better than most clubs in Europe.
Yeah, I mean,
their B team alone has so much world-class players. Their B team can win so much championships just alone. And with all in my opinion, they don't need all these players. They've spent a lot of money, but unfortunately for them, they're not performing well because there's no chemistry between them or anything.
Yeah, I agree. On to another club and my personal favorite team, Manchester United, who last year, this time around, they were a nightmare. Their only good player was Cristiano Ronaldo and maybe David De Gea. They were so bad last year.
And
Terry Maguire, I can't forget him, he's a good defender. So, with this year, a lot of people actually expected United to do either worse or slightly better, and not improve to this extent.
Especially with Casemiro now.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't expect the players to actually perform like they are. Let me list you 3 players who are remarkable, in my opinion, that no one expected to do anything. First is Lisandro Martinez, who was, every pundit was saying he's not good enough for his height, which makes no sense. He's actually one of the toughest Man United defenders. And the second, Casemiro.
I think he even scored against Arsenal.
He scored against Arsenal, Martinez, yeah. There's Casemiro. Casemiro is an amazing defensive midfielder. He's holding the United team. Not just the midfield, not the attacking, the team. Everything is being held by him. And then there's Marcus Rashford, who in our opinion is the star boy of Manchester United.
Right now.
On his current form, he is the best player in the world.
I can't name one player that's better than Rashford right now.
Yeah, and neither can I. Maybe I can make a point for
Haaland, maybe.
But
Rashford is outplaying Haaland in every aspect of the game, except maybe goals. Maybe Haaland has scored a bit more goals than Rashford.
But still, let's be honest, we also have to give credit to Manchester United manager Erik Ten Hag, who, he's done so much. He's done so much to actually improve the club from 6th to 3rd. That's an insanely impressive managerial performance, and I think that we should give him credit for that. So with Erik Ten Hag's performances, a lot of people are saying that United are back. What do you think about that?
Well, I definitely agree. Erik Ten Hag has to be one of the best managers right now. In my opinion, he is the best new manager in the Premier League right now.
Wait, what did you call him? Did you call him Tengenham? Tengenham. Okay, that's his new name.
If you look at the stats right now, Erik Ten Hag, the best managers, alongside Arteta, and in my opinion, Sean Dyche he will be really good this season.
I think so.
Not only did he win against he in the first game he won against the first in the first clubs in the standings, which is Arsenal, which is very impressive, and. He is a really impressive manager and he's really good. So in my opinion, I think they will perform really well. Now they're in relegation points.
Yeah, I think they're 19th now, or 18th.
Yeah, so I think he might get them from relegation to at least top 15, top 12, something around that. Since we have 18 matches left till the season ends. So we're halfway there.
Yeah, I think that a manager like Arteta can only be beaten by good managers at this point. Sean Dyche is a relegation survivalist, if you ask me. He's survived many tough stints with Burnley, many tough situations that no manager would survive. And I think, in my opinion at least, the very sacking of Sean Dyche was the beginning of the end for Burnley's season last year. Now I have to ask you a question, Ali.
Yeah.
What is your personal opinion on Arsenal Football Club at this point of the season?
At this point, we're performing our best. We haven't performed this well, not even in 2004 and the Invincible seasons. Reason being is if you look at the stats, in the halfway point of the season, we have more points than we did in the Invincibles, which is amazing. It's incredible if you ask me. Sure, we had one loss.
United beat you guys.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the halfway point.
Oh, the halfway.
The halfway point, we had one loss by then by Man United, and we had around 2 draws, 2 or 1 or 2 draws. But if you go back, and we had around, I think, above 45. We had above 45 a few matches ago, at least. If you go back to the 2004 Invincible season, you're gonna see that we had way more draws than we have right now, which makes us have less points. So, in my opinion, right now Arsenal are really performing really well, especially with Arteta and Odegaard, who's debatably one of the best midfielders right now, and of course Saka. We can't forget about Saka. We're playing really well, especially and Zinchenko. Zinchenko is world class in my opinion.
Yep.
And with the goalkeeper Ramsdale, we're a really fully developed team right now.
Yeah. So basically, as we've already mentioned, Arsenal Football Club is a team that No one expected to do this well, right? In your opinion. I mean, if you look back, as you said, at the stats, the 03-04 season, also known as the Invincible season, was obviously historical. However, with points, when it comes to points at least, if what you say is true, Arsenal now, even with their 2 losses, is actually a team that's performing better than their Invincibles club. Because that's Invincibles team. I think they drew 12 games in the entire season, which is...
it is a lot.
Yeah.
So let's shift our ways from Arsenal being the best club right now.
So we already mentioned the likes of Manchester United, Manchester City, Chelsea, and Arsenal. However, there's one more team that we forgot in the Big Five, which is Liverpool. Yeah.
So let's talk about Liverpool right now. Well, it's quite funny how bad they're performing right now. I can't believe how people say that Liverpool is the biggest club in England and they're performing this bad for the season. They've achieved a lot in the past, but I can't see them achieving anything in the future if they're performing like this. Especially with the Darwin Núñez up front. If you ask me, Liverpool creates really good chances, but there's one player who always ruins those chances and makes it and loses their goals and makes them lose.
Is it Núñez in your opinion?
Núñez. He isn't.
Yeah, I don't blame you for saying that.
I can't put all of the blame on him, since the team itself is not performing well. The goalkeeper is not on form.
Yeah, he's not. A lot of people say he's good, but he's not as in form.
Not even in the World Cup. He's not even playing the World Cup, if I remember correctly. Was he the starting?
I think so. Yeah, he was the starting. Yeah. But
was it him or Edison?
It was him. However, if I'm not mistaken, he only kept 2 clean sheets against what was it? Switzerland and Serbia. Yes, it was Switzerland and Serbia. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyways, my point still stands that he's not performing well, and defense. Well, Liverpool was never known for the defense, but they're not. They have Van Dijk,
amazing player, but
I can't see how your defense is this bad when you have Van Dijk, which is one of the best, who is one of the best defenders in Premier League right now.
Yeah,
and the midfield is. It's quite sloppy.
No, their midfield, in my opinion, isn't. I don't think it's just sloppy. I think it's borderline relegation form. Their midfield. They don't even have a good midfielder, in my opinion. Fabinho has been playing like a prime Scott McTominay, which is not good. It means he's working hard, okay, but he's not good enough. Thiago is injured. I think they do have an injury crisis. To be fair to them. And they're forcing themselves to play players such as Harvey Elliott, right?
I think so.
He's not good enough for the Premier League. I think if you loan him out to like France or to the Championship, yeah, if you loan him out to France or the Championship, I think that he could actually perform well there. But I don't know. Maybe. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you on that. And it's quite sad seeing Thiago not performing well anymore. If you look back when he played for Barcelona, he was one of the best midfielders at his time. He's amazing with his dribbling, his physicality, his shooting, his with all of these stuff. I can't believe how he's not performing well anymore. And Liverpool right now, it's quite sad seeing the top 6 doing like this. If you look at it right now, the only ones who are in the top 6, if that makes sense, are Arsenal and Manchester United and Manchester City.
Yeah, that's
Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, I can't. Unfortunately, Liverpool are doing so poorly, and so are Chelsea. I don't even want to talk about Tottenham. That's an entire conversation.
Tottenham is.
I don't even consider them as a Big 6 team. People say they're Big 6, but they're not. They're not. No.
I'd say Tottenham don't even deserve to be in the Premier League. They should be in Sunday League. Tottenham. The funny thing is, Tottenham always have high expectations for themselves and always value themselves as a team that could equal Arsenal, or sometimes they even put themselves above Arsenal. But it's quite funny how bad they are with their Audi Cup.
Yeah, I mean, as you've already mentioned with the Audi Cup, that being the only trophy they've won is kind of like saying that United's Bangkok Century Cup actually means something.
Yeah.
It's a pre-season trophy, and for a team to have a player as talented as Harry Kane, who has over 200 Premier League goals now.
Don't forget about Son as well.
Heung-min Son is also a player that I think Tottenham have mistreated because let's say you have a player as talented as Kane and as deadly as Kane and as talented and deadly as Son. To not even win a trophy is embarrassing. And let me just tell you something that makes Tottenham stupid other than their poor management of their players. Their poor management of their coaches. I mean, Pochettino was a very, very, very, in my opinion, misunderstood manager. He came off second in the Champions League, which already makes him a legendary coach.
Yeah.
So when they sacked him because of an underperforming team, not an underperforming manager, I think it was stupid. But hey, they did actually, hire Mourinho. He himself is probably the greatest manager of all time in some ways. Yeah, debatably. So to have a manager who is as hungry as Mourinho, play for your team, you should invest everything you have on him. Don't you think so?
Yeah, I 100% agree, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's quite sad how spectacular world-class players such as Son and Kane won't leave their club, Tottenham. If I was a manager for any other team, I'd buy them the second I get a chance to. Because Harry Kane is a really good player who would perform even better than he is right now if he went to any other club. But unfortunately, it's getting quite too late for him since age doesn't really help. I think he's in his early 30s right now, if I'm not mistaken. Late 20s, early 30s.
Late 20s, early 30s. He's basically in the peak of his career. He's basically reached the point where there's no way he as a player will go higher. He'll only now start to go down with age.
Unfortunately, yeah. And Son, who's a really, really talented player, he has everything you'd want from a winger, but unfortunately he's playing for such a garbage team like Tottenham. I'd hope to see them in higher clubs such as Arsenal maybe.
I think that would be controversial, but in the long run, if a player as good as Kane or even Kane himself goes to a team like Arsenal, I'm sorry, but the Premier League is in trouble because Kane, whether you like him or hate him, he is the most clinical striker England has had since Alan Shearer himself.
Yeah.
You might make up a point that, he doesn't have the trophies, that doesn't make him good enough. I don't think that's his fault, because if you use that as a point, let's not forget that a player like Phil Jones has a Premier League trophy.
Well, I think if Harry Kane had the chance to, he'd win a trophy as easily as Alan Shearer.
I think so too, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I have to ask of you one question that I don't think a lot of people would like because it could generate a hot take. Between Chelsea and Arsenal and all these big five clubs, in your opinion, of all time, who is the greatest and most fun club to watch? In your opinion, I want to know.
The greatest, it's not debatable, it's Man United. The most fun to watch, I wouldn't be an Arsenal supporter if I wouldn't say that they're the most fun team to watch.
I can agree on that, yeah, that's a fair point. Arsenal, I think under Wenger, had the most revolutionary style of football. They played football in ways that no one expected.
Arsene Wenger is a really good manager. He shifted the club, since he joined in 1994, I believe, he shifted the club and made it one of the best clubs in the world. Well, not in the world, I'd say in England, but it is up there. Wenger he even went through the invincible season. He went through a lot of hardships with Arsenal, and then unfortunately when he left in around 2018, we got, I don't even want to speak his name, one of the worst managers we've ever gotten in our history, in the history of Arsenal. Then afterwards we got Arteta, who is performing really well right now, and I really enjoy watching them play.
Yeah. So I think that today we've spoken more than enough about the Premier League and the big five clubs, and we thank you all for your listening. نشكركم على استماعكم. And inshallah, you guys all enjoyed listening to us, and we all hope you have a wonderful day. Assalamu alaikum. And I think that we should give him credit for that.
يا اخي don't distract me bro. ليش قاعد تأشر وقاعد تضحك؟ We're gonna cut this right now.
اصبر. Pause.
الحين ابدأ. اسكت. And stop bro, just move bro. Stop.
ماجد
يا اخي stop.
برمي الجزمة عليك.
Disruption started happening.
Disruptive.
Just اجلس.
تك 3 ولا بس كمان؟
No, وش كمل؟
اوكي تنهك.
الله خلي عندي شوي ثلاث اساس
No! Just
تنهك.
يلا
He's from Arsenal, being the best club right now. مين the
السلام عليكم.
نعم ايش
يا hey get out.
قاعدين تصورون
صور قاطعتوا التصوير اطلع يا اخي اطلع
ثواني بس ابغى اسوي شيء واحد.
اطلع انتم ما
اخي اطلع ترى we don't have ما we don't have all day. لا يستاذ ماجد قاعد يساعد. ماجد هو البروديوسر الحين.
قاعد هي اطلع
يلا بسرعه ما عندي انا
حصل شيء يا اخي انا مظلوم يا اخي
يسا هو بروديوسر لا اله الا الله.
10
ظلمات يوم القيامه
اسكت ولا يلا بسرعه
يلا يوسف يلا one more team Liverpool and then we conclude everything. Okay I hate Liverpool. Okay يلا.